Morning. It's Monday morning, the night after the day after the night before, and I'm surprisingly bushy-tailed and not hungover, because as soon as the football finished, I left because I knew that I had to get in this Renault Zoe GT and take it on a 320-mile road trip. Now it's a Renault Zoe, so who knows? But so far so good. I've picked it up with 71% of charge, which is, how do I turn this stereo down here? Where's the volume knob? There it is. That's better. I've picked it up with 71% of charge, which is saying that will give me a massive 165 miles of range, if it's true. Now I'm currently in Camborne. I'm actually outside Camborne at a place called Bray, proper mining country, middle of nowhere, and between here and Exitor there's only one decent charging place. I say decent, it's a crap charging place, but it's the only place with enough chargers, and I think Exitor is about 125 miles. So the big question is, will I get there? I don't know is the answer. I really don't know. So fingers crossed, everybody, because the next time you see me, we'll be at a charging station. We just don't know which charging station or where. Well, here we are. Those eagle-eyed of you around here will notice this is not Exitor. This is Roach. I've managed 32 miles in me Zoe, there she is, because on the open road, Zoes are shit. That's just fact. I had 170 miles of range when I picked the car up, dropped to 165 as soon as I started it. And I did the 32 miles from Red Roof to Roach, at which point I'd lost 82 miles of range. So I only had 82 miles left. And it's 74 miles to Exitor. Well, based on that performance, I can't risk that. So I've had to stop already. So I'm already stopped and I'm already charging up. And if that's not bad enough, the thing I'm charging up on is charging me 79 pence per kilowatt to charge up. And also, if you look here, it's only charging at 9 kilowatts, which means I've been charging for 17 minutes and I've added 10%. It is going to be a long day. Luckily, I'm in Cornwall and it's summer, so it's pissing down and freezing cold, thanks to Greta. So there you go. This is why I hate these things. Because Exitor is 80 miles in that direction. Guess how many fast chargers there are in the next 80 miles? None. That's right, none. Not one. On one of the busiest holiday routes in Britain, none. Only slow chargers that will take 24 hours to charge. That's no good to man the beast. So if you've got a car like this that won't do 100 miles on a charge, you're screwed. You've got to charge here. You don't have a choice. And you've got to charge at Exitor or you're not getting to Cornwall, because there is nothing in between. It's just bloody fields all the way to Exitor. They took the fast charger out of Oakhampton. If you see a previous video, I covered that, and I think that might have been a Renault Zoe as well, actually. So here we are, another charging place, another milk float, another perfect example of why these things aren't fit for the open road. Oh, it's just unlocked itself for me now. That's nice, isn't it? So I'll give you the guided tour while we're here. Let me turn it round. So that was all right, isn't it? Basically an electric Clio, but you know, it just looks like a car. It's all right. It's got, these handles are weird because you have to do that all, and then you hook your finger round. It's just like a two-fingered operation, right round punchline. Bit of room in the back. Front's all right. Telly. weird gear lever thing as standard in a milk float, 2 USBs and a aux in, and you know, so it's all right. It's just a shame about what's under the bonnet, isn't it? I'll give you a guided tour of the other side. So there's the tally. As you can see, I've still got 293 miles to go. It's saying I'll get there at 26 minutes past 2. I bloody won't. There's me charging in progress. I've now got 122 miles of range, allegedly, for me 69%. So I'm going to have to sit tight for a bit longer. There you go. The Renault Zoe. And weirdly, the first ever road test video I did for a Renault Zoe, I sat in this exact charging station and came out with the immortal phrase, this is the first time I've been inside a Zoe and not enjoyed it. So nothing's changed there. It's still the same. It's still the same crappy car with crappy range. Now I'm going to make a hazard a guess, look, because I'm on 70% now on 122. So by the time this gets up to 80%, I'm going to have about 140, 145 miles of range. I reckon I'm stopping again at Exitor. I don't think I'm getting any further than that. So, we'll see. See you in a minute. So here's the score. About 30 seconds after I finished the video of the inside of the Zoe, it just stopped charging. And I was still only on 70%. So, I moved to the next charger along, and that one was out of order. So I moved to the next charger along, and it was charging at a rate of 0.1 kilowatts per hour, which, you know, is the equivalent of a AAA Duracell battery, one of them on its own. And then that one stopped charging as well. So all those chargers have stopped working. So now I have no choice. I am on the road and I am driving to Exitor with 123 miles of range, which I know isn't enough because it's raining, so the windscreen wipers are on, the demister's on, and the lights are on. And this is the reality of owning an electric vehicle outside of a city. The charging network simply isn't there. I know there are no high-powered chargers between here and Exitor. I mean, they're meant to be high-powered chargers, but they're not. They're shit. And I know there's none between here and Exitor, so I am now driving to Exitor in the full knowledge that A, I won't get there, and B, I don't know where I'm going to charge it. I mean, what a world we live in. And you wonder why I say future my arse. I've checked Zap Maps, and I think there's 3 slow chargers. I know there's one in Oakhampton in a car park that charges at a rate that takes 24 hours to fully charge. So there's a good chance I may end up in that one to give me enough to get to Exitor so I can charge again. Yeah, really. You're in a milk float, don't come to Cornwall. You ain't getting nowhere. So there you are. I'm now, an hour and a half into my journey. I've done 35 miles. I've spent 3/4 of an hour charging to give me 40 miles of range. I've got 122 miles of range left and 80 miles to the next fast charger. Future my arse. I bet you can't wait for the next instalment. I'll see you in about 10 minutes, I should imagine, at this rate. I've slowed down, by the way. I'm now doing 60 mile an hour, which means it'll take me even longer to get there because I've got to drive slower because I can't afford to use the range up. So now a slow journey is going to be even slower because I've got to drive slow to preserve energy so that, oh my God, what a shit situation this is, isn't it? It's amazing. This is the driving equivalent of watching England play football. Right, see you in a minute. Good news. I got to Exitor. I've discovered from being inside Zoe for quite some time that if you drive at 60 mile an hour and not 70, the range doesn't change. It just goes 1 mile per 1 mile. So you just have to get everywhere a lot slower than you normally would. and I worked it out, you know, precisely 14% slower than you normally would. I mean, and then, so that's the good news. I got to Exeter. The bad news is, of course, that being the only place with chargers in the southwest, it's completely full. And there's none spare. So now I can't even charge my milk float up, even if I wanted to. And I've got to wait until a spare one comes along. Not like a petrol pump where you just queue for a minute. These could be 3/4 of an hour if they've all turned up at the same time. So, yeah, again, another practical demonstration of how shit EVs are. Update. I managed to get a charging space. The charger don't work. I'm now piss wet through. Future my arse. It's now 17 minutes since I rang grid serve. In that time, I've managed to get even more piss wet through. And my milk float is finally now charging, and I'm off to the services to try and dry off a bit. Anyone ever remember taking 17 minutes to get a petrol pump to work? No, me neither. So I am now 3.5 hours into my journey. I have travelled the grand total of 120 miles in 3.5 hours, and I've got to wait here now to charge up again, so I'm not going to be leaving here till at least 4 hours. Average of 30 mile an hour. What a wonderful world we live in. This could be the most future my arses I've ever put in one video. I'm now 5.5 hours into my journey, and luckily there's been a lorry fire on the M5, and I'm now sat in a traffic jam. So I have reached the dizzy heights of Bridgewater. That's Redroof to Bridgewater in 5.5 hours. It's great, isn't it? But it has given me time to do some homework. So the Renault Zoe GT, this is a 71 plate, it's done 15,000 miles. From new, it cost a lovely amount of just over 30 grand. So 3 years down the line, what can you expect to get back for your 30 grand milk float? 12 is the answer. Trade-in, 11. So that's a nice little 60% depreciation, or 18 grand, whichever way you want to look at it. So it's nice to see that even at the bottom end of the market, they depreciate like a boulder falling on Wile E. Coyote in Roadrunner. You never see those cartoons on the telly anymore, do you? Yeah, 12 grand. Buy it for 30, sell it for 12. 3 years, 6 grand a year. Lovely. What's that? 120 quid a week. How much is that a day? I've got nothing else to do, might as well work it out. That's about £18 a day, isn't it? So it's every single day of the week. Oh, there goes another 18 quid. Oh, there goes another 18 quid. Every day you own it. So it doesn't matter what you're saving by, you know, charging it up at home overnight. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to lose it in depreciation anyway. And you're going to lose it in time. Let's not forget time. Time is a commodity. Time is worth money. So the journey from hell continues. I'm no further, well, I am a bit further forward. Good news is, I say good news. When I left Exeter, I had 170 odd miles of range, and I'm at Bridgewater and I got 135. Yeah, that's about right. So travelling at 6 miles an hour, you can actually get an accurate range out of this. So there you go. It just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, 6 mile an hour is the future. It's the future of my arse, that's what it is. There you go. I've lost the will to live, to be honest, so I've got nothing else to say on the subject. But Renault Zoe GT 71 plate, depreciates just as fast as everything else. Future my arse. When I said this would be epic, I wasn't joking. because here I am at Gloucester Services. After 7 hours, I finally got to Gloucester from Cornwall. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't down to the milk float here. It was down to a lorry fire on the M5. But nevertheless, I'm still charging up for the third time today. That's the third time. And yes, I'm only at Gloucester. And I'm hoping this will be enough to get me there. Let's have a look. There you go. 72% now. Oh, cancel. 72%. Half an hour of charging. And I'm still going. And this epic has turned into Ben-Hur proportions. And I'd just as well have a horse and a chariot, to be honest, as my lovely milk float here. Because I wouldn't get there any slower. So, next time, I should be in Corby, and the journey should be over. Who knows? Future my arse. Well, I'm finally here. I'm just pulling into Corby now. It's been 10 hours and 20 minutes in total. 2 hours of that down to being stuck on the M5. So actually the journey in the Renault Zoe has took me 8 hours for a 5-hour journey. So only the extra 3 hours then, really. Here it is in numbers. 320 miles, 10.5 hours, 3 charges, 4 broken chargers, 20 minutes spent on the phone to get chargers reset. Total charging time, 2 hours, 37 minutes. Total charging cost, I haven't got a clue, because 2 of the chargers never told me what they charged me. I only found out on the 3rd one. And 2 hours sat on the M5 between Exeter and Bristol, when the total journey took me 3 hours, because 2 hours of that was sitting still. 10.5 hours in total, and here we are, proving once again that the milk float is not the vehicle to go on a long journey with, and especially not when it's pissing down with rain, because not only does it ruin your range having windscreen wipers and lights on, but you have to get out, and 9 times out of 10 all these chargers have no cover on them whatsoever. Garage forecourts, petrol forecourts have a cover so you don't get wet while you're filling your vehicle, which takes 2 minutes. However, when you got 45 minutes, you get piss wet through. Granted, you don't have to be stood outside the whole time, but you do when you're on the phone to GridServe trying to sort out their shit chargers. So it's been a wonderful day, and this is the final one. I won't need to say this anymore because it's the end of the video, but I think I have categorically proved once again in epic proportions, EVs, future my arse.